I imagine this is an immensely wonderful moment for me, for my family, my son. I can't tell you how grateful we are that you've taken time out of your lives to be here tonight to encourage and to support him in this race for district attorney. I'm very proud of him. That goes without saying. He's not only a terrific father, he's not only an accomplished lawyer, he's not only a terrific dad, he also happens to be, by any definition, a good person. And I'm so proud of him and so proud of what he's accomplished. To be here tonight is one of the highlights of my life, without question. My only regret, quite frankly, is that my wife isn't here. I think if there was any person who was responsible for how well my two children have turned out, and they have turned out beautifully, Megan's here tonight as well, she would be the one who deserves the credit. Did a great job with both of them, and I know that she would love to be here tonight to share this moment. Having said that, I don't think there's any getting around the fact that this is going to be a tough race. It's going to be a hard election. You know, I'm from Woodstock, and people in Woodstock like to ask tough questions. And I've been asked since Mike announced his candidacy, why should I vote for him? Give me a reason besides the fact that he's your son. And Woodstock's a tough town. And my response to that is, you know, everyone here in this room, sometime or another, has had to go out and seek the help of a lawyer or a physician for a problem they needed treated, whether it's for themselves or with someone in their family, a close friend. And when you've done that, when you're going to look for a doctor to treat something, what you do is you go around the community and try to find out something about that person, about their experience, about their record, about their ability to do what you need to be done in terms of this treatment. And you want to know what their peers think of them, the people in the relevant community. And I tell my friends at Woodstock, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, independents, liberals, if you apply that measure, that prism to this race, it's an easy call. There isn't any question that the most qualified candidate in this race is Mike Kavanaugh. When the voters go to the voting booth in November to elect the district attorney, what they're going to do is hire a lawyer. Hire somebody to represent them against people who have committed serious crimes in Ulster County. Ask yourself when you're doing that, do you want someone who's done it extremely well, done it with integrity, is a professional, is respected by his peers, is an individual who has demonstrated time and time again he not only has the integrity, but he has the ability to perform an exceptional service for the people of Ulster County? Or do you want someone who's never done any of that? Now, I'm not here to tell you that Mike's opponent is a bad person. I know him. He's a very, very nice guy, and he's a good man. But the fact remains that he has little or no experience in terms as a prosecutor. I was district attorney in this county for 21 years. I never saw him. I never was aware of his presence in county court. I was a Supreme Court judge for 14 years. I was intimately involved in the operations of our legal system. I had little or no contact with him. So when you contrast that lack of experience with what Mike Kavanaugh brings to the table, it seems to me that under any fair measure, he's the obvious choice. And that's the message we need to get out in this election, because this is going to be a tough race. We've had two candidates in recent elections, good, qualified people, exceptional people, and they didn't win. And it had nothing to do with them that they didn't prevail in the race. I don't want that to happen again for a personal reason, but as an Ulster County resident, I don't want that to happen to our county. We need the best person possible as district attorney. And I can tell you without reservation that Mike Kavanaugh is that person. It seems very strange when I say that. I think I'm talking about myself. But having said that, I just want again to thank all of you for being here. It is such a thrill for me to know that my son has the respect and esteem of so many good people throughout this community. He says a great deal about him, and it means more than I can ever tell you in terms of our family. Having said that, I want to tell you now it is a great pleasure and a tremendous privilege for me to introduce to you the next District Attorney of Ulster County, Michael J. Kavanaugh.
Thank you. I am absolutely overwhelmed. One more, I can't fix this. Here we go. Thank you so much. I am absolutely overwhelmed by this turnout. In my wildest expectations, this was not anticipated. And I cannot thank you people enough for being here. And let me start out by saying what a thrill that just was. To be introduced by my father. I think the only thing that's going to top that is when he swears me in January. I'm overwhelmed. First, I want to thank my campaign committee and the volunteers that have stepped up and made this happen and reached out to all of you, and they're volunteering their time. Obviously, they're not getting paid to be here and to do this. And they're doing this to help me and hopefully help this community, but to help me to chase my dream. And I cannot thank them enough. And the person who I have to thank the most is my wife. Jen is here with my 2 daughters. She has put in so much time. Before this started, no one has given more of themselves to me and the family than my wife. And now she's on double duty. She's basically a single mom because I'm out trying to meet as many people as I can in this campaign. Never complains, never questions why. She supports me so much, and I am eternally grateful. I love you. Thank you. Now I want to mention something that I'm extremely proud of. I've been at the front door greeting everybody as you come in, and there are people from every different party here. There are Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, all here, and I'm extremely proud of that. That means that people are ignoring affiliation and party lines, and they're here to support the candidate that they think is the best. And I believe in a job that's as important as this, one that involves the safety of this community and our children, that Ulster County voters are going to choose experience and qualifications over party affiliation. I truly believe that, and this is an example of why I believe that. Now this job, I am incredibly blessed to have. I've been a prosecutor for the Ulster County DA's office for 7 years. I was a prosecutor for the Dutchess County DA's office for almost 8 years, and I see some friends here from the Dutchess County DA's office. Lori, Jim, thank you. Great to see you. And there are other people here as well. This has been my dream job. This is why I went to law school. This is why I applied to law school. This is the only job that I wanted. When I graduated from law school, the only jobs I applied for were the district attorney's office. I never applied to any firms. I didn't do this because I wanted to make it rich somewhere by being in a firm, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a ton of respect for people who are in law firms, and there's a ton of them here, and it's a valuable profession. But it's not for me. This is what I want to do. This is the job that I love. And I'm incredibly lucky to work for one of the finest DAs this county has ever known, and that's Holly Conroy. And his wife, Mr. Here tonight. Thank you, Holly. And I wouldn't be in this position or have this opportunity if it wasn't for Holly Conroy, who has taught me what it means to do this job the right way and for the right reasons. Everything Holly does is guided by the principle of what is the right thing. Doing the right thing, no matter what's politically expedient, what may cause some backlash, everything he does is because he knows in his heart it's the right thing. The right thing for the office and the right thing for the community. Holly, thank you for being such a great example to me. I also want to acknowledge how fortunate I am to work with the great ADAs, support staff, and investigators in the Ulster County DA's office. They make me look good. The work they do is unbelievable. These are passionate people who care about this job. There are Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, liberals, all in the office. There are no political divides. It is a group that joins together to try to do the right thing for this community with a joint purpose. And I'm privileged to work with all of you, and I'm more privileged to consider you my friends. Thank you. One of the things that I truly love about this job is that I get to work with the brave men and women in law enforcement. And it's a tremendous source of pride to me and my family to be associated with the police officers and other members of law enforcement that serve this community. And I say this, we all are on the same team trying to do the right thing for this community, but I tell the officers, I'm not one of you. I can't be one of you. I've never had to go out on a dark road in the middle of the night and pull over a vehicle with 4 occupants with no one else around. I've never had to respond to a domestic situation not knowing if there's a gun in the house. I've never had to respond to a bank robbery with an armed perpetrator. I'm not built like that. But these brave men and women do it all the time. And while I'm not one of you, I am so proud to work with all of you. Please, a round of applause for the law enforcement that's here tonight. One of the things about working as a prosecutor is you get the opportunity to stand with victims in court. People who have been through horrible ordeals and are looking to you for a measure of justice. I've had that opportunity many times, but there are a few situations that really stand out. There are a couple that have a profound effect on you and your life. And I want to tell you about one. On December 27th, 2014, a man named Nicholas Pasquarella Jr., who lived in Marlborough, was estranged from his mother and father for almost a year. They had had a falling out. And on that day, Nicholas Pasquarella Jr. showed up at his parents' house, unannounced, hadn't spoken to them in over a year. And he pulled up and he waited at the bottom of the driveway. And at some point, Nicholas Pasquarella Sr. came out to warm up the car because he and his wife Judy were going to go shopping that day, and it was cold. When Nick Sr. walked out of the house, his son saw him, got out of his car at the bottom of the driveway, walked up with a baseball bat, and beat his father to death. And he did this while Mrs. Pasquarella, Judy Pasquarella, was in the upstairs window watching the whole thing. Judy has since passed away. She died last year. She was a friend. She would call me up occasionally, out of the blue, just to tell me she loved me. My family's been to their house. My daughters have swum in their pool. Some of the best Italian food you've ever had, Judy cooked for us. And I made an incredible friend. And that friend is here tonight. And that's Judy's daughter. Dawn Kokoza. Can you come up here, please? Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we do this job. Dawn has become a personal friend. I love her. She is, without question, the most brave and courageous person I've ever known in my life. She had to survive her brother murdering her father. And when that happened, on that day, she had to respond to the house. And she saw the aftermath. And she's had to deal with that ever since. And we've remained in touch. And when I tell you I love her, she is one of the bravest people I know, and I truly love her. Thank you. That's really what I'm going to end with, because there's no other thing to say other than that. That, to me, is why this job is so important. That's why this job requires that the district attorney have experience, to know what it's like, to know the needs of victims, to be able to reach out and connect with them. It is imperative that this happens. And unless you've been in this situation, unless you've stood with victims before, you don't know what it's like. How incredibly rewarding it is and how heartbreaking it is. And as I've said before, and I will say it again, the office of the district attorney should never be a consolation prize. Thank you.